Hello, my name's Megan Rempel, and I'm doing a presentation on what is a social enterprise. So we had a lunch and learn on November 16th, and I didn't record that session. We had, I think, 6 people in the room that day, and so I figured I would just make a recording and just talk over the slides and go over everything that I presented to the group that day. So I work for the Lillooet Learning Community Society on their project called the Community Connect Innovation Hub. And the hub is a social enterprise. We have a store downstairs, and we have a co-shared office space. So I'm going to get into it. Yeah, let's start. So there is a little bit of debate over what exactly a social enterprise is. Is it a business? Is it something run by a non-for-profit? I think it could be either or, and there's examples of that out there. The main idea of a social enterprise is that you're balancing the value, or the business is valuing social objectives and business objectives for profit, kind of on the same level. So equal value on profit and doing good. Also, social enterprises will usually have their business strategy, like the core strategies of their business, aligned with a particular social benefit. This is sort of going over that line, which, everything is sort of a spectrum. You can get this off of the Government of Canada website. We have charity on the left, and then we just go along through the options. So charity operating a related business, which is an option for social enterprises. And then we have an enterprising nonprofit organization. That is what the hub is doing. The society is called the Lillooet Learning Community Society, which is a nonprofit, and it is doing business activities to bring different revenue streams and support the social programs. Next on the scale, we have a not-for-profit corporation with social purpose. Then we have a co-op corporation with a social purpose. And here we have a business corporation with a social purpose. So that comes down again to the definition of where social enterprise is in the line. The traditional definition would be that a social enterprise is actually a business and under the Corporations Act. But that's not necessarily true. There's lots of examples in BC of social enterprises that are operated under nonprofits. And next on the line, we have a socially responsible business corporation donating to charity, and a commercial corporation on the far right. So those last three are sort of traditionally what's been done in the corporate realm, right? It's social responsibility programs, which usually involves just giving money to social things, giving money to non-for-profits, and You know, the innovative approach and what we're trying to change with something like social enterprise is a bit more of a melding of the ideas of contributing to social good. You know, a little bit more commitment and a little bit more strategy behind those business activities rather than just saying that you're giving money to a particular thing, actually having the social goals directly played out in the business's strategy. So I tried to watch this video while recording my voice and it doesn't really work. So I'm going to put the link in the description of the YouTube video. I highly recommend watching it. He talks about some examples of social enterprises, as well as kind of shows a spectrum for what he considers social enterprise. So in his presentation, he shows us that social enterprises are run under nonprofits, and he makes that distinction, and that social entrepreneurs run businesses. So that's all I'm going to say for now, and yeah, watch that video. All right, I don't know how well that video thing worked, but I'm going to put the link to it in the comment section or in the description of the video. So in this section, I asked the room if they could think of any real life examples of social enterprises. And one of the main things that came up is we had an elder in the room that was involved with the Houston Experience Tours. So this is an Indigenous-led business, and they do tours and talk about their history, their culture, and they also have food, and they kind of have a gathering spot for their people, and they make sure to hire their community members to work at this place. So not only is it a business, but it has lots of benefits for the community, specifically Houston, and the extended community through this sharing of culture and stories. So that is a pretty good example of a local social enterprise. And people may not think of it as a social enterprise. This is just sort of a new term for what a lot of people are sort of doing already. So here I have some other examples of businesses in BC that would be considered a social enterprise by the definition. Caribou Compost. This is a local curbside compost pickup business. All right, so they make their money, they pick up your compost, and they deal with that, and they make beautiful, healthy soil or black gold, and then they sell it. So obviously this is a business, but there is also some very obvious benefits to the environment. So this is an example of a social enterprise, something that is making money and making profit and doing good at the same time. My next example is Blue Lotus Creative. So they're a website development and marketing agency, but they have a specific mission in the core of their business strategy that they want to help other businesses, like they want to go after clients that are specifically trying to grow their social impact. So basically, the contracts and the work that Blue Lotus takes on is specific to growing impact. They're going to take on clients that are helping in the social realm. So they are also an example of a social enterprise. The other one is, I just put Port Alberni Shelter, and I found while doing some research. So this is an example of an enterprise run by a society, right? The Port Alberni Shelter, they have a shelter, but now they've created a social enterprise, or they're doing business activities to give people from the shelter jobs and to transition them out of being homeless and providing these opportunities, employment and training opportunities. And that is an example of a social enterprise that you see. It's kind of around employment, training, and the labor market. I'll get into some examples of that later. Yeah, yes. So this is a really good visual. You can see the business on the right, the charity on the left, the social enterprise is in between, whether it is in the non-for-profit sector or whether it's under the Corporation Act. There's 3 models listed at the bottom. The last one is what I'm talking about, where it's sort of a specific model that social enterprises take on, where they're employing people that face barriers to employment. One of the other categories of that would be making a social enterprise that provides a service, and the people that you hire are people with disabilities, and you're giving them training and work opportunities. Now, there is a question of why. I mean, there's an overarching reason of why, which is that we need to sort of step up and have our businesses contributing more to these social issues that we're facing in humanity on the planet. But another reason why, for example, non-for-profits may form social enterprises is that they're looking for the solution to always getting grant revenue, right? They're trying to find revenue that's not from grants so that they can have a bit more flexibility in how to spend that money. And the other reason why corporations might set up a social enterprise is that corporations have a lot of resources and are being asked to step up. There's lots of really good reasons why a corporation would want to be called a social enterprise. There's also a customer base of people out there that only really want to engage with corporations if they're showing that they're doing something more for the world than just making money for their shareholders. And I think this is going to be just a personal opinion, but I think this is going to become more and more prominent with the younger generations. So, in terms of British Columbia, these are 2 of the legal containers if you wanted to have a social enterprise and have basically corporate articles that actually make it so that you have to show you're contributing. So the CCC, the Community Contribution Company, was made in 2013 and wasn't very popular. It was supposed to be a hybrid model that ensured that community purpose was sort of in the corporation's requirements. You can have both shareholders and stakeholders. It had a dividend cap, and it wasn't very popular. So more recently, the government of BC in 2020 made a separate sort of corporation which I think is sort of going after the same things, but has less restrictions. So there's no dividend cap, there's no thing in the articles. Basically, you just have to, at the end of the year with a benefit company, make an annual benefit report to the public. And again, the reason for this is investors, customers, employees are wanting more and more to see that companies are actually contributing to the world and to social problems. So having a benefit company, might be strategically good for certain corporations. To be continued, here are some legal containers on the other end of the spectrum. And as you can see here, I've put the BC Center for Social Enterprise. I did actually get some of this information from their existing PowerPoint. And I would just encourage people to go look at that. I believe it's on the BC Center for Social Enterprise website as something that you can download. It has a bit more detailed information on having a related business, as a charity and the rules in that area, as well as running a social enterprise under the umbrella of a nonprofit organization. So this is a bit of an advanced look, but I just wanted to put it in there as an example that you can see everywhere that the blue is hitting, all those areas where a business can make money or where there's money making to be had is also all the areas that you can make impact. And that's what social enterprise is all about, making impact. So that takes the same slide that we just looked at. And as you can see, we got the commercial aspect in blue, how you would think about things in terms of commerce and a business. And then beside it, how you can also think about impact in all of those areas, social impact, right? So this sort of gets you thinking about social enterprise. Let's look at the first example, which I think I did with the group. We have the commercial aspects. There's a coffee distributor, a drink distributor, and the local chamber of commerce. How can you introduce impact to those areas? We have a non-for-profit partner that's supporting people with disabilities, social enterprise alliance, and social investor. This is just a brainstorming tool, right? Look at all your business processes. How can you have social impact in each of those processes? Sometimes it's just as simple as what is being called social procurement, making sure that you buy your baseline products from your business from another business that's pays fair wages or supports other social initiatives. And that's how we can sort of build impact all throughout the different processes of a business or the chain, even before or after your particular business. All right, here's some terminology that I just wanted to go over, just some definitions. Also because I really feel it's important to explain, at least to the Lillooet community, but maybe beyond, what actually is a social innovation hub or a community innovation hub, and what is the Lillooet Community Connect Innovation Hub trying to do. Innovation. So what is innovation? It's a new or novel way of doing something that adds value. Something new, whether that's a new thing, a new way to do something. Social innovation is focusing on the development and implementation of new ideas, approaches, strategies, or solutions to address specific social problems or meet societal needs more effectively and sustainably. Generally, social innovation is localized, specific, and experimental. Social change generally are larger, broader social movements, so less localized. These are your large-scale things like end all wars, that sort of largeness. And as I've noted on the PowerPoint, you can use social innovation to create social change, right? The innovation piece is the instigation. So what is a social enterprise? A social enterprise is a business or an organization doing business activities that values profit and purpose equally. So again, it can be a business under the Corporation Act, or it can be businesses that are run by non-for-profits to contribute to their social programs. Social entrepreneur is a person who has a for-profit enterprise that aims to solve social problems and to make revenue. Corporate social responsibility. This is sort of your typical corporation gives X amount of money to a charity. This is sort of the old way of doing things. It helps for a little while. It helps non-for-profits and charities run, which is a great thing, but it doesn't necessarily solve the root cause of the social challenges that we might want to solve. Corporate social innovation. This is about corporations that are creating shared value and have social concerns as the key parts of their core business strategy and model. So this is sort of the new way, right? Corporate social innovation challenges corporate social responsibility programs. Corporate social innovation takes it to the next level. It's like, what is your business actually trying to do, and how does it contribute? Instead of just as a whole separate thing, you know, I give money every year to this group. Corporate social innovation is, here's how we partner with other organizations. Here is how we're actually doing this as part of our business. Okay? Theory of change, I threw that in there even though I might not be the best person to speak about it. But the theory of change is a tool that helps impact organizations define what change they're actually trying to make so they can measure it and so that they can design their operating models and strategies around that change. And the last definition is innovation hub. An innovation hub is a place that fosters creativity, where innovators, change makers come together to share ideas, collaborate on projects, develop new solutions, and widen their influence. So that's what we're trying to do here at the hub. This is just a graphic representation that I found I think during some of my readings, just showing visually what systems innovation looks like. Step into system innovation, and this is around culture and systems change. I'll put the link to the article that I found this in the video description, in case you want to look at it more deeply. Yeah, so people did ask questions. Feel free to comment if you have any questions on the video. Comment below. And actually, we had this lunch and learn today at the hub, and we were really happy to also have a full room of people interested in this program that we're developing. We did not record that session. It was more like a feedback Q&A in-person type thing, but stay tuned for this exciting program that's running through the hub via the Lillooet Learning Community Society. All right, and I think that's good. That's 30 minutes of me talking. Thank you very much, and see you next time.